Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Soccer Over There. We are live, as always, from the Brewhouse, where they have 9,474 televisions for your viewing pleasure, along with a wide, vast assortment of wonderful, delectable things to eat, an expansive drink menu for you, many wonderful things. But, guys, I think everything that can be said about the Kobe situation has been said. My only 2 cents that I'm going to add to this is that Kobe, as proud dad Kobe, was my favorite by far. And I think that, from seeing on social media so many parents who seem to take a renewed – sometimes it takes a little push to have a change of heart or a change of mind about something. And to see a lot of parents out there rededicating themselves to spending time with their kids – being invested in their endeavors, be it athletic or intellectual, no matter what, being more invested in the kids. Hey, if that's your Mamba mentality, I'm all about it. So, and especially thoughts and prayers to everybody who have been affected by this as well. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the show. And, guys, there's a little bit of craziness going on in Serie A this weekend.
How crazy was it?
Well, we don't have a Mondays with Racism. That's a huge, wonderful thing.
Wow.
That we don't have to talk about.
When was the last time that we didn't have a Mondays with Racism?
Since we started doing a live show.
I think, since we started doing a live show.
First ever Mondays with Racism segment that gets floated.
It's been floated. It's gone. So hopefully, maybe we're going to call that maybe progress. Maybe. I don't know. We'll throw that out there and just say it's progress. But the table tightened this weekend as the match of the week, which was Juventus and Napoli. Not many people gave Napoli a shot. Gennaro Gattuso, they said, this was do or die. I said it was do or die. Well, it was due for the boys in blue. They managed to pull out a win against Juve. If you watch the game, Napoli came to play. They were organized defensively. The midfield was stout. They scored when they had to, outside of a last gasp effort from Cristiano Ronaldo. Juve really was hit or miss in this game. I really didn't see too much from them that said that they are going to be surefire 100% top of the table when it's all said and done. Guys, did you watch the game or no? Did you? I
did not know.
No? Okay. All right.
I'm deferring to your Serie A expertise and analysis.
Okay.
Here.
Well, that's A-okay. But the problem is for Juve here, and what was on the line for this game, not just, we talked about on Crumpets and Espresso, the gaggle of teams from about 10 down to about 10 to about 15, where you have 27, 27, 25, 24, and 23. It's pretty tight down there. So a couple of losses, and you're going to find yourself right outside of the relegation zone. And that's what we were talking about on Crumpets Espresso, that if Napoli didn't pull this off, it was the spiral might have been something they have not been able to recover from. But when you take in the added pressure of the fact that Maurizio Sarri was coming back to San Paulo, that you had as well the Hamburglar himself, Gonzalo Higuain, his return. And we talked about the fact that if you go anywhere near the stadium, you're going to find all kinds of wonderful widgets and whatnots that have Higuain with devil horns, Higuain and Sarri in compromising positions.
Aye.
Wow.
You have Sarri and Higuain toilet paper that you can procure.
Is he in the Hamburglar outfit in any of these?
No, but I think that's something they should strongly consider.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I just think they should.
What are the street vendors doing in Turin and not jumping on this?
I think they need some brand strategy. I'm willing to offer my services for brand strategy on Hamburglar rip-off and knockoff items. Yeah, and toiletry items
Hamburger
as well.
toiletries.
I mean, if you want to be like anti-Hamburglar and anti-Saudi, you could make Saudi's face be on Grimace.
Yeah.
And you could do some really, really interesting things.
Look, I think that's something that they should absolutely explore.
Ronald McSaudi.
Look, why not? We have a broad assortment of ideas here, guys. I think there's some money to be made. Just tossing that out there.
It's just because they lost over the weekend, and Inter could not do anything about it.
No. Which is absolutely mind-bending. That's 3 draws in a row for Inter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody said
they've
about.
drawn 4 of their last 6.
Hey, you got to look. You got to win these games. If you're Inter and you want to have, and you're going to say, "Hey, look, we're bringing in everybody." It's all hands on deck. Antonio Conte's going to solve the problems. Well, Antonio Conte's got to get this squad out of the draw now, win later thing that they're in at the moment, because you had the losses for Juve are few and far between in Serie A, and you have to capitalize when you get the chance. And the fact that Juve is still at the top of the table with 51 points, Inter second at 48, it is a huge, huge missed opportunity, only equaled by Lazio with that draw against Roma, which was the game was an absolute blast.
That was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, that game was super fast paced, back and forth action. The official, I was convinced, was going to get tennis elbow from all the cards he was pulling. And it had everything that you wanted. But I mean, when you're talking about Serie A this year, it's a lot of fun because it's tight between 5 and 1.
If I had told you at the midway point of the season, or just past the midway point of the season, that there would be one team that has only 1 loss, what team would you have said that was?
In Serie A?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say the Juve.
Yeah.
At the beginning, yeah.
And that's Inter Milan.
Well, no, I mean, it's not like Inter we expected to be garbage this year.
But
So,
but the fact that you have Juve with 2 losses, Lazio with 2 losses, but Inter's the team that has the least amount of losses.
Yeah, they got 6 draws, so yippee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not yippee. And that's the worry about a Conte is, does it get too defensive? Does it get too much don't lose?
Yeah.
And you've got to get out of that because they have a squad that can play a little more open, I think, anyway.
I believe they can. And
maybe with a certain addition that has landed at the airport, maybe they get a little more open. Just saying.
Mr. Eriksson has touched down at Malpensa and has worked his way allegedly to the team offices for certain signatures and whatnots.
Yes.
Medical testing, maybe.
A little bit of medical testing, maybe.
Whatnots?
Medical whatnots, a little bit of probing action.
Whoa.
Hey, it's a medical procedure, gentlemen.
Whoa.
Medical procedure.
Whoa.
Medical procedure. Perfectly normal to have that kind of happen. I'm just saying, look, it's something that has to happen. But your thoughts on Eriksson going to Inter? Is this going to help them out at all?
It's about the approach. I mean, talented player. You would think that with his future resolved, that the problems he's had at Spurs will go away a bit. Yeah. So he hasn't looked good for them, but he's not settled. So I get it, and I think Mourinho's basically said the same. So he should be comfortable. He should be back to full confidence, and it's going to be down to the way Inter decides to approach matches. I think that's the biggest thing is. You've got to take advantage of these opportunities when you can. And they've just put too many points, they've left out there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's got to change, whether you got Eriksson or not.
For me, it's just if you're going to be bringing in players like this, it's either, one, you have very little faith in the squad as is, or 2, you're gearing up for something major, and you can't gear up.
Or 3 a guy's just available. I mean, to a degree.
But no, but in Serie A with financial fair play as tight as it is.
Are they that tight with it?
They're just getting out of financial fair play trouble.
Fair enough.
I mean, and I mean, like, not too terribly long ago, they were in dire straits. So it's something where I would be very cautious about bringing guys in. Anything that's going to appear on the wage sheet, you got to be very careful about. Because you're 1 or 2 transfers away from having major issues or having to sell Lautaro Martinez maybe a year earlier than you might want, even though he's like 110, 115 million euro release clause.
Euros, yes.
Hey, worth every penny at the moment. But for Inter, I think that Conte has to release the hounds, and he has to start going for wins. To quote Herm Edwards, we play to win the game, right? I mean, you have to do it. And like Jason said, it looks like they're playing more. There's more not to lose. Like get out with the draw. It's a little too safe.
Too safe, and it's just not. That's not going to win you a title this year.
No,
not when you, and not in general in Italy when you've got to overcome a club like Juve. It's just not going to get the job done.
If it happens, what is the fallout if Inter gets away from being quick draw McGraw, or basically slow draw McGraw at this point? If Juve doesn't finish first at the end of the season,
right?
What is the blowback from that not happening?
Oh, I think it's tremendous, because for up in Turin, it is championship or bust, and almost like Alabama, if something happens and Alabama slips, what do the fans start screaming? Fire! We got to fire Nick Saban, man. Paul. We got to fire Nick Saban. It's time. I mean, it's going to be the same thing, but in Italian, they're going to be screaming.
What does that sound like, Nick?
Yeah, really? If folks are calling up Paulino Feinbaum, what are those phone calls like?
Wow.
I don't know what our rules are on Italian profanity, so I'm gonna have to.
Well, no, they're not. They're
the
not.
thing is,
They're not cursing on Feinbaum.
No, if you want to hear what the Torino people would say, that's what I'd be saying. It'd be a little bit of market a fire. It'd be. I'm blanking some things out.
You're self-deleting?
I'm self-deleting. I have to self-delete. But it's the same mentality. It's the same mentality that essentially it would be, they'd be Saudi, Avali Inferno. They'd be telling them, where to go and what horse to ride in on.
So the subtitles of the show, when it's on, I don't know if Rai Italia still is operating, but if it's on there, if Paolo has his show there, it's just going to be rants in Italian
that's
underneath,
it.
right?
It'd be rants in Italian. Yeah,
that's just they're going to have to just do that. Keep it generic.
And because Juve has been at the top for so long, and they have just dominated Serie A for so long. Anything less than that is an abject failure. Is it right? No. Meaning that, is it right that they would get that kind of blowback, that kind of heat? I think the Saudi, desire to reshape that club would obviously be called a failure. Especially if there's no Champions League and there's no Serie A. I mean, what are you going to rest your laurels on? Coppa Italia? That's it? That's what you're going to – Lazio has a Coppa Italia. I mean, come on. You got to bring something better than that. But it's going to be big-time problems if Juve slips up. Big-time problems.
And with a match in hand, Lazio could be 2 points behind if they win their next one.
Yeah, and Lazio's been flying. I mean, you have to keep in mind that this was a derby game against Roma. It's going to be tight. It's going to be hard-fought. Lazio threw the kitchen sink at Roma, and they were a couple of pulled shots away from winning that game outright. So, when you look at it that way, it's Lazio. You can love them or hate them, but that is a team that could easily sneak up on people, and they could, if you want a college football comparison, they could easily be in Oklahoma. Who, wait, hold up, what do you mean they're still in the title picture? I mean, it's the same sort of thing at the end of the year.
All right, so Mondays with Reddit's already rolling with the Italian market.
Okay.
Lots of different things reportedly going on. DiMarzio is reporting that Roma is negotiating with Barcelona for Carlos Perez. Right of first refusal may be included in the deal. Pedro and Al Sharawi are other options, according to DiMarzio. And then on the flip side, DiMarzio is also reporting that Valencia is targeting a move for Roma's Florenzi.
The issue with Barcelona is they want a buyback clause, and Roma does not want to insert the buyback clause. Keep in mind that there's a lot of bad blood between Roma and Barcelona.
Explain. Explain.
There was a transfer that was supposed to be happening, and the player's name escapes me at the moment. I'm having a massive brain fart with it, but essentially the player was on the plane to Roma. And, And then out of nowhere, he shows up in Barcelona to take his medical,
right.
and Roma, lost their minds over the deal. So when it comes to dealing with Barcelona, Roma is going to, Jim Pilata's still in charge for the moment. The deal with Friedkin has allegedly passed due diligence, so now they're in the closing stages of that. But as long as Jim Pilata's in charge, there will be an aggressive stance toward Barcelona. They're going to want that buyback clause removed. Barcelona, obviously, to protect their interest, because as we all know, Barcelona is a team that in the very near future could need all the reinforcements they can get their hands on. They want that buyback clause available. That's something that could hold that move. As far as El Shaarawy,
it was Malcolm, by the way.
Malcolm, that's correct. Yes,
and he's at Zenit now, anyway. So.
Yeah, so that
it
really
went
work out well for Mr. Malcolm. But it's something where. With El Shaarawy, they've had success with him there in the past. I think that's something that, the Pharaoh is somebody who could be doing good things. But at the same time, I mean,
I've always liked him as a player.
Yeah, he's somebody who I thought was underrated, an underrated Serie A player. I think if he had shined a little bit more with the Azzurri, then maybe it's a little different for him. But Roma's trying to make moves. The Florenzi move, I would be cautious about that one.
Right.
If I'm Roma, I don't know if I necessarily want to lose that.
Wouldn't sell him?
No.
Cagliari is also mentioned in a rumor, and this goes back to MLS a little bit, because a player who was almost ready to go to Cincinnati, Gaston Pereiro at PSV, agreed to the transfer fee. The two clubs did. The contract in front of Gaston, he did not. I don't even think he gave an answer. I think it just got to the point that Cincinnati's like, yeah, we need an answer. Here's your deadline.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to give you 24 more hours. Okay, we're going to move on. And he might end up at Cagliari.
Yeah, and that's probably why the contract didn't get signed. Is that I'm sure his agent said, "Hey, hold up.
Yeah.
You don't sign anything because we may be able to keep you in Europe."
And a club that's in sixth place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not exactly like you're going to Sassuolo or anything. You're sixth in the table. If I'm an agent, I'm telling my player the same thing. You do not sign anything that's put in front of you. We sit tight. We're going to see what these options are. And if Cincinnati walks. There will be more American clubs who will knock on the door for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think in most seasons I would say the MLS move is a really good move here. But, Cincinnati's not the top MLS club. They're not really a club that looks like they're going to make the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. And Cagliari is a club that's higher than you expected them to be. Now, do they stay there? Do they get into the European competitions? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, they're in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the fact that they're playing Parma, Genoa, and Napoli, they have. I think they're probably going to stagnate where they are at the moment. But it's something where if you are a player who, and I'm just bracing for the blowback, so I have to make sure I word this correctly. There are still players in Europe who view coming to MLS as a massive step down.
No, there absolutely are.
And whether it's accurate or not, that is not what is up for debate at the moment. But that mentality exists. And if an agent has an opportunity to keep a player in Europe, more than likely that player will accept that, outside of maybe a move to like the Swiss League or. Yeah,
but here's a question I would ask.
Yeah.
He gonna make more money at Cagliari than he would at Cincinnati as a designated player? I don't know if that's a guarantee.
No, it's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he could easily make more money at Cincinnati, but at the same time, you have to explain to your friends and family why you picked up and went to America. And Cincinnati, not Los Angeles, not New York.
And I think that's a big
Miami.
part of it. I mean, you're talking about an Uruguayan player who, if he ended up at LAFC, for example, you've got top young Uruguayan players there. Right. You're going to have a different perception. Cincinnati doesn't have that respect yet. No. Now, does that change? And I think they tried to do it with this deal. Probably why you got to make a really big offer. The long term here is, I think you're going to be in a situation in this deal where PSV gets less money and the player gets less money. And how long does that actually hold up to where that's the norm? I don't think it's a whole lot longer. Well,
it's also, a team like Cagliari is going to be something where you're going to end up in a fluid situation. Like it's a team that can fluctuate wildly in their standings. Mm-hmm. You're going from you're 6 right now. You're looking at a European spot. That's fine and great, but they're not a team that's going to necessarily invest a ton in depth. So let's say you keep that European spot. Next year you're in 9th or 10th. And in 9th and 10th in Serie A, relegation's right around the corner. So you have to be very careful with your team selection. If he was looking at a Roma, okay, fine. Napoli, absolutely, because it's a team that knows how to navigate that with regularity, that kind of, here's how we need to strengthen our roster, here's how we need to invest in the club. I understand, Cincinnati's probably not the most attractive landing spot for coming to America, but at the same time, you only have so long for that maximum earning period. And so you need to make sure that you capitalize when you can. This seems like more of an emotional move. I want to see the final numbers, but it seems like more of an emotional move than a fiscally driven move.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess the biggest question with a move like this and looking at the table, is Milan going to be able to jump up into this? They're level on points.
They can. It's what has happened with Milan, and I'm wearing my throwback Milan pregame warm-up jersey at the moment. It's
feeling very good.
I'm feeling very good
these days, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling very good about it. My faith has been rewarded.
Are you building a Zlatan statue in your backyard?
I am. Zlatan, I want you to know.
Does it not have the nose?
No, I will not disrespect the Zlatan statue, unlike the people at Malmo who have just gone and desecrated that poor statue that has done nothing but been a focal point of pride.
I love the change in tune
and civic interest. I'm simply stating for the record that the Zlatan statue is one that absolutely should have been respected. Yeah. And yes, I have changed my tune as week. You have. Yeah, this week. This week, I'm very fickle.
Was last week.
I'm very fickle. I have no problem with saying it is a very transactional relationship with Milan. Yes. I have no problem in saying that. But this is something I had not considered, and looking back, I'm an idiot for not doing so. I figured that managers would look at the game tape from when he was with the Galaxy toward the end of the season and say,
right.
He's not moving quite like he used to.
Yeah.
I think we can – I'm not going to say you ignore Zlatan, but the way we mark him and handle him in games will be obviously different than previously. No, they're still marking him like they did old Zlatan, where they are directing a ton of focus anytime he's on the pitch. And as a result of that, it's opening up lanes for everyone else. And not just that, but he is – an on-field general. He's directing traffic. He's telling players where to go, and they're actually doing it. So Pioli has the luxury of having a second coach on the field, and not just that, but it's a player who has immense respect. So when you're on the training grounds, and Zlatan looks at you and says, "Zlatan thinks you should practice harder. Zlatan is always correct." You're probably gonna be like, "Si, signore." Grazie. And then you're going to keep it moving, But it just seems to me that it's been a culture change with him showing up. And there are moves that are happening right now. Sevilla's looking at purchasing Suso from, I want to say it was a loan with an obligation to buy for Suso. They are cleaning house from a culture perspective as well. Because when you spend $250 million in transfers, not all of it's because the player's a bum. Sometimes it's because the player's head isn't screwed on right as well, and that has to be factored in. And I think that's what Maldini and squad are doing now, is that they're doing a culture cleaning. And they're talking about, and I don't think Krzysztof Piątek's part of the problem, but there are now transfer rumors that Piątek might be on his way to Spurs. And considering the fact that the guy has scored like 4 goals in league play this year, hey, you get what you can. If you can get 25 million for him, absolutely go for it. But it's time. Piątek's had plenty of time to try to prove himself at Milan. I understand that maybe they were expecting different results and different utilization under Marco Giampaolo. Obviously, that didn't work out. So you have to work with what you have. And for Pioli, he's moving players around. He changed the formation. He went to a 4-4-2. It seems to have really worked well for them. And as a result of that, Piątek, it might be time for him to move along. And they're going to have to make some other moves, with Paqueta and others that may have to be out the door.
All right, Mondays with Reddit's nuts with the Italian transfer window.
Cool.
So
yeah, there we go.
Emre Can, who Juve got on a free.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to bring in £25 million from Dortmund to sell him.
Out.
Typical.
Got him on a free.
Yeah.
And he's going to take a pay cut to make the deal happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is phenomenal business from Juve. I mean, but they do this, though. They find players. They are still one of the few Serie A teams who can trade in on their name. They can say, hey, it's Juve. They're knocking on the door. Come over here. You're going to win trophies.
Run your contract out.
Yeah, and we're going to make it happen. All we're trying to do is win Champions League. The rest is a given. So come over here and help us win a Champions League. And Emre Can bought into that. There have been moments where he's been okay for Juve and moments where it's been not so great. And as a result of that, you know, his starting position is, how should I put it, not guaranteed. And, you know, if he wants to move on, more power to him. Great business for Juve. This is how the rich get richer.
Okay, we mentioned Cagliari maybe making a purchase. One reason why they might be able to do that is West Ham have reportedly made a £40 million offer for Uruguayan international central midfielder Nahitan Hernandez, who came over from Boca for $18 million in August.
Mm.
That's a quick turn.
That's a very quick turn.
What's the West Ham bid?
40.
18 to 40.
There you go.
In 5-6 months.
Take that money.
That's a good ROI.
If they turn down the offer, then they're going to try to do a new contract with a $40 million release clause in it.
I'm taking the deal. I'm going to take the deal simply because
I probably would too. And I like Hernandez. I mean, I saw him with Boca last season. Good player, but I don't know if you're going to get more later.
Right.
At that club, again, it's a volatile club. You could end up in the bottom half of the table by the end of the season, and nobody's really coming in knocking on the door that way.
That's right. And like we talked about before, when you talk about factoring in European play, if they're able to stay in at 6, if they make Europe, and the strain of trying to maintain your competitiveness in league play and stay in Europe for as long as you can, because the longer you stay in, the more money you make. And they do. Let's say they go to the bottom of the table. Well, that $40 million bid now goes down to about 35. And then if when you get the second half of the season, you're still toward the bottom end of the table, that summertime bid may look at more like a $20-25 million, and then all of a sudden you're making far less money than you might have been looking at if you just sell him now. So I think you take the gamble and you sell him while you can, and and make the money. But again, this is why you have to be very careful about going to some of these traditional mid-table clubs in a league like Serie A, because there are a lot of team presidents that look for that immediate sale of a key player or two, thinking they can replace him, because that magic word plus Valenza, if you can get that, they're going to make the move.
Well, it looks like Inter's going to bring in some money as well, because a deal has been done, it appears, at least that's what's being said in Portuguese. Flamengo and Gabigol, permanent deal to get him back from Inter.
Wow. All right. So do we know the money on that?
No, I don't see anything on the terms just yet.
Well, if the Lautaro Martinez deal is the one that
a little more than 16 million euros, what it's looking like.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And that's going to cover your Eriksson move, right? I mean, that's
essentially. I mean, probably throw in a little bit, but that gives you the cover to. I think you'd offered 15, and Tottenham wanted 20 last we heard. So you're making this money on a player you weren't going to have back anyway. Hey, then you can do it. Yeah,
and that makes the deal far more palatable.
Yeah.
It's just okay. So now we're talking about covering the difference as a result of player that's not even here. So that's fantastic business, and I'd like to see this out of Serie A. These teams that are making more of these shrewd moves, maybe more intelligent purchases than they would have in the past, and watch this summer for the Lautaro Martinez deal to happen. 110 is the release clause. Watch for 115, 120 million. The kid is absolutely worth every penny in my mind for one of the higher end clubs, especially when you consider some of the other talent that they may be trying to to bring in for double that. No. Just make the smart move, get the kid out, and take
Manchester
your cash.
City, among others.
Yeah, I mean, if Manchester City, I think, would absolutely dump $110 million for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's something where when Inter got him, they got him for what, 15, 20 mil, and then you're looking at all that money coming in. That gives Conte just a tremendous transfer kitty to go out and pretty much get anyone he wants. So, smart moves, man. Smart moves are being made all over the league. I'm very happy to see it.
All right, I'm going to have to correct something we said at the top of the show.
Let's go.
Mondays with Racism is back.
Oh, no.
In multiple countries.
Oh, God.
Including Milan. Yeah, a youth player, Chinese player, was racially abused, 13 years old, left the field in tears. Of course, it's about the coronavirus. And that's the taunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you guys watched the Maradona documentary when Napoli went to play Juve in Turin, they had the cholera? They were making they were making fun of it with attacks about cholera, and they were making attacks about Mount Vesuvius cleansed them with fire, and how old is the kid?
13.
For anyone, like, number one, it's a really stupid and terrible thing to say to begin with, because people are actually dying.
But to a 13-year-old,
exactly. Like, what kind of coward do you have to be to yell insults at a 13-year-old kid?
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're a kid coming in from another country. You're putting on a kit that you've probably dreamt about wearing, and you go out to play, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
classy, cowboy.
On a larger scale, this was in La Liga. Iñaki Williams of Athletic Bilbao was racially abused in a match at Espanyol. Espanyol has sent out an official communication that they have identified 12 individuals who were involved in this.
All right, so lifetime bans?
I don't think they've gotten to that
just been
point. They've just identified them.
They've just identified them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then let's go ahead and
progress. I mean, they're working on it, which is
yeah,
a good thing. And then in the FA Cup this weekend, Cardiff City statement on Twitter, no, on their website, a club statement that they have a clear picture of the facts pertaining to Saturday's stadium announcement during the fourth round FA Cup tie at Reading. This was, let me get this correct. It is understood that the 4 Cardiff City supporters arrested and subsequently released prior to investigation were cited during the fixture for using what would normally be considered as unwarranted or nonsensical language. This is what Cardiff City is saying about their supporters. This language could be heard taking place between fans of both clubs and was of an anti-Welsh, anti-English nature. Cardiff City says they are extremely disappointed that Reading Football Club chose to label the behavior as racist and homophobic, of which there has been no evidence, according to Cardiff City. We also question their protocol and procedure on the day and welcome a full investigation into its use for the benefit of both of our clubs and indeed British football. So, Cardiff City is defending their fans. We don't know the details.
No, we don't know the details.
Yeah. But this is where you're getting now. It's to the point where these things happen, announcements are made, protocols are followed, and then people are questioning what happened and questioning the protocols. And we get into he said, and nobody actually knows.
John?
I'm still stuck back at the 13-year-old.
Yeah.
It looks like it was in Milan, not involving Milan as a club. It's smaller clubs, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to diminish it by any stretch because it's freaking horrible, but stupid things get said all the time when you get into those levels of play. Yeah. I had people say that in different parts of this state about teams that I took down. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to act like it doesn't happen. Right. It's sad and it's stupid, and there's a lot of stupid people out there.
Agreed.
When it's happening on the bigger scale, it's a little bit different because there's cameras, there's microphones, there are police, there are more people paying attention, and the fact that people still feel brazen enough to do it, you're going to get these situations. I mean, I don't know the details on this Cardiff-Reading one, but you get the pushback of things that were nonsensical instead of being racist or homophobic.
Right.
It's not the exact same argument, but it's similar to the argument that people have said trying to defend a chant in Mexico, that it's just part of the culture. It's not actually meaning what it is, but we're past that now.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the biggest part of it, and that's why, we're not going to spend much time on it today, but that's why we do spend time on it, because it has to be understood that it's a process. These things don't go away overnight. They don't go away if you just, keep ignoring it or say, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal, and it is a process to change it, and it has to be called out. But you also cannot expect every single person to understand what's going on every single time. You're going to get stupid people saying stupid things because they didn't get the message. Well, we need to keep giving them the message, and that's part of this nonsense. I mean, now you're getting clubs and you're getting things in Mexico trying to deal with this, like a goalkeeper doing the rainbow flag dyed into their hair ahead of a game. You're getting clubs actually like putting statements on jerseys ahead of games. Like, it's crossed that line to where now everybody is fighting it in a very strong way. That's taken time in Mexico to get to that point. It's going to take time in the other countries as well, and there's all kinds of different elements in each one that have so many different rooted beliefs and cultures and things that you're not going to make it happen overnight because a PSA was done. Right. You got to keep pushing and keep hammering it.
You got to keep hammering away on it. You really do. You've got to keep hammering away and exposing it for what it is every single time. Stupid is stupid. Doesn't matter the when, the why, who's associated with it, the age. Stupid is stupid.
As long as you keep identifying the people who are doing this.
That's going to be the key.
Yeah, keep identifying them.
Exactly.
And providing immediate, substantial punishment. And I hope that our friend, the 13-year-old, is. I hope he gets treated exceedingly well by the club. I hope that, Milan, sets him up with a lunch or and time with Maldini. And time with some of the higher-ups with the club, time with the first team. Make sure that kid knows that he's a welcome, valued addition at the club. I want to see something from Milan that makes sure that this kid is taken care of and that he knows that he's part of the Rossonero family and that he can feel at home here, not just because some idiots decide to chant something that obviously is beyond buffoonish in nature.
So. All right, let's move over to Spain.
Spain?
So you've got new manager at Barcelona.
Yep.
You have Real Madrid, top of the table, 3 points clear through 21 matches. They're on 46 points. They've won their last 3. Barca?
Hey?
2-0 loss at Valencia.
Ooh.
Not good. New manager?
Yeah.
Definitely trying to shake things up. That doesn't happen overnight. You're getting reports about players saying they don't quite understand what is being asked of them yet, what the manager wants them to do. I think Barca needed to move on from Valverde. I think it was past time. It needed to happen. We've talked about this many times. But this is what happens when you do it midseason. You're going to get some of these results that Valverde might have gotten you a draw. He might have gotten you a win by doing what's worked for a while to a degree. But you were never going to win the Champions League with him. You were never going to get back to where they want to be. And we all know Barca's not a typical club. Barca has a way of playing, a culture of playing, an identity that is a huge part of what they do.
I have no sympathy. None.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
And no, they should have done this at the beginning of the season. They shouldn't have brought Valverde back.
No, yeah, exactly.
Because it was already broken.
Thank you. It should have been handled in the summer, and Valverde should have been gone by them. Now, here's the thing, is that now you're in a situation where the what-ifs come in, and that's the worst thing for a new manager when the fan base and the supporter groups and the ultras are all saying, what if, oh, no, what if we had kept Valverde? What if we –
You're getting all of the backseat driving happening now after you've made the change.
Exactly.
Because they weren't happy when Valverde was there, so you're backseat driving that. We've got to make the change. It's like, things have to fix themselves. The best way to fix itself is to bring in a new manager. Now that you brought in a new manager, you're not happy because things aren't fixing themselves, or you're regressing one way or the other. So you have a fan base who's going to speak what they're saying regardless of the situation, regardless of who's in charge. I think that you were going to get this either way.
And the thing is, though, is that this manager is going to create a toxic situation, because there are a couple teams that anytime an idea like this gets put out into the wild, it's gasoline matches and the driest wood humanly available, and now you're going to have if you're talking about Real Madrid, you're talking about Barcelona, and maybe just a couple of other clubs where people are automatically screaming, okay, it's time to get rid of the guy. Hey, who else do we have? Who else? Who's in the back pocket? And the team has to look at the fans and go, that was kind of our last bullet, guys. I don't know what to tell you. And especially if you lose the title, the La Liga title, by a point, 2 points,
anything that's one match margin.
Yeah, anything that's a one match margin. Now, now you're talking about some real hostility and something that could have been prevented had you handled your business in the summer like you were supposed to. Mm-hmm. And instead, because you got wet feet on firing the guy, and I know that a lot of people may think this is shocked by what I'm about to say. I do not advocate for people becoming unemployed. I really don't. I hate when people, because I have been there. It stinks. I don't like saying somebody should be fired. I'm just saying that they should not have brought him back. They should have found a way to seamlessly give this man an opportunity to find new employment going into the season instead of firing him halfway through.
Needed a fresh start.
Yeah.
Needed a fresh start in a bad way. Speaking of clubs that need a fresh start.
Start.
Diego Simeone, Atletico.
Okay.
He's gotten the dreaded vote of confidence at one point.
Oh, man.
And his time at Atletico could come down to this weekend in the Madrid derby, where they go to Real Madrid on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Because when you look at the table, they're in fifth.
Yep.
Madrid, not what they've been in the past. Barca, not what they've been. This should have been a year that Atleti is challenging to win the title. They're fifth. Real Sociedad is 2 points back. Valencia is 2 points back. They haven't won in their last couple. They lost in the Copa del Rey as well, shockingly. And now it's to the point that, look, it might be time to go. And you're getting these kinds of comments. So Javier Aguirre, famous Mexican manager, famous Atletico manager.
Yep.
He is now at Leganés. He said, talking about the situation, it's very effed up to be at a club for 7 years. There are transitions. We have to thank Cholo very much for what he gave to this institution. Titles, finals of champions, academy graduates, money. There's a before and after Simeone. And that's 100% true.
Yeah.
I mean, they became – we used to always make fun of La Liga because it was a two-horse race.
Yep.
Well, it became three because of Simeone.
Right.
And he's been amazing there. But 7 years is a long time, and this team looks like it's just done.
Look, you moved a lot of players. You moved some names from Atletico.
Absolutely.
And it takes time to recover when the name is large enough. But 7 years is a long time. And it may be time for him as a manager just to find, just to go in and say, hey, guys, end of the year, I'm walking on. I made a ton of cash here. I feel like I've left the club in a great position.
If he doesn't get fired first, yes.
If they fire him now, they're morons. If they fire him now,
because right now you're looking at a team that has as many draws as wins, but you're in a fight with Sevilla, who's 2 points ahead of you, Getafe, who's only ahead of you on goal difference, Real Sociedad and Valencia 2 points below you, still in the Europa zone, and then Villarreal and Bilbao are outside 3 points below that. I think that if you run the risk of replacing Simeone now, things could crater
Yeah, but they're cratering now. You got beat by a nobody in the Copa del Rey, and you run the risk of not being in Europe next year. And I don't know if they're a club that can handle that.
Right.
Well, it's here's a couple of ways I would do this. If I'm Atletico, I would say we're going to float a report out to the media that we're interviewing other management candidates, right? And I want to see how the team responds. If the team goes nuts and plays like their hair's on fire, I'm keeping Simeone till the end of the year.
Are you telling Simeone this at the same time?
No, because if we're going to fire him anyway, it makes no difference. But if we kind of float a rumor out there that, hey, look, we're thinking about replacing Simeone, and the club and the players say, okay, great, and they stop listening to him, hey, we got to get rid of him anyway. If you're going to fire him, you're going to fire him. But if the players respond, you keep him at least to the end of the year, and then you let him walk away with a wonderful ceremony, thanking him for his service. We appreciate everything you've done for the club. Yes, 100% correct. There's a before Simeone and an after Simeone. But don't be shocked if they let him go and he ends up in Serie A. Just don't be I could see that being a perfect landing spot for him. I think it's time, though. Some teams
it's definitely time.
Yeah, because some teams become
the message gets lost after time.
Yeah, not just that, but even as a manager, as someone who's in charge, you can be trapped by the gravity of your past success. You could say, I have done X, I have done Y, we have done this. I'm not changing who I am. And at some point, you have to say, okay, I've had my teeth kicked in enough. I know it has happened before. I have to change things up radically. And typically, that only happens when you deal with serious hardship. And losing a plum gig like Atletico Madrid may be that thing that gets Simeone that special kick where he could take his next step in the evolutionary process of being a manager. I don't want it to happen. I love watching him, with Atletico, but yeah, it's time for him to find greener pastures.
He's the kind of guy, and it's typical with some of the Argentines players and managers that I don't think he gets fired. I think he falls on his sword when it comes to that point, and that point could be after this weekend. Just to give you a hint of kind of where things are with Atleti, so their SB Nation blog, Into the Calderon, is one of the better ones, and it's so all over the place right now that it's just like the top two stories after the player ratings from the scoreless draw with Leganés is, first one was, please remain calm. Simeone has a plan for this new Atletico. Second one is, Atletico Madrid's golden days are over. So
what's the third one?
Well, it's player ratings. It's the two. That's it. It's only two, but that's it. Those are the two. Those are the two differences. It's please remain calm. Everything's going to be okay. And no, we're screwed. It's completely done. We're trash, and forget it. You need a reset. You just need a reset. I think if they don't get a result against Real Madrid this weekend, I think Simeone steps down.
I think he steps down, and I think he could go to Milan.
Yeah?
Because they're going to be looking for I don't think Pioli's going to be there. They have higher ambitions.
That's interesting.
And they have no problems apparently hiring former Inter players and Inter managers at Milan now, which is shocking to me. Giampaolo was an Interista. Pioli's an Interista.
You sound a little upset by this.
Mihailovic was an Interista. Simeone played at Inter from, 97, 99. And so I think that if you're trying to go a high-profile manager, there's only going to be a couple of names out there that would probably be interested in working with you. And he's managed in Italy before with Catania. So
Pochettino.
I'm sorry, who?
Pochettino.
You think he's going to Milan?
I could actually see it, yeah.
I don't think he's going to Milan.
Manchester United?
I think he is going.
He'd be really smart to stay the hell away from that place right
Agreed.
now.
Okay, we can agree that it's an intelligent decision to stay away from
I think
there.
he's smart.
But when somebody, backs up an armored vehicle with, Her Majesty's Royal Bank on the side of it.
And he just likes the Asado. He doesn't need that much money for the Asado.
I'm just saying.
I think he's, and maybe I'm a little skewed because of some of the things he said, his book. I think he's still got a bit of that romanticism to it. I don't think he's necessarily looking at just the money. And I don't know how comfortable he would be going back to England, honestly. I don't know if he'd want to go up against Tottenham. I could see him going somewhere different.
I would love for him to go to Milan. I would love for Pochettino to go to Milan. Please make it happen.
I'll try.
From your lips to God's ears.
I'll try.
Let's make it happen.
You need a good Asado.
I need an Argentine person to come in and step up and take the controls. Pioli's done a wonderful job at Milan.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a long-term answer. I don't think anyone with the team believes he's a long-term answer. If you can get Pochettino, if you can get Diego Simeone, do it and get it done with.
They're very different, and that's what would be fascinating if it comes down to that kind of decision. I mean, both Argentine, but both very different in their approach. I mean, Pochettino, I think, wants to play a big, expansive, entertaining game, and Simeone is win at all costs.
Yep.
I will stab you if I have to stab you.
I like that.
Which one is more Milan? Which one, or does it matter for Milan?
It doesn't matter at this point. Pochettino would be the more classic Milan choice.
Okay.
But
for some clubs, that factors in as much as anything. But I think Barca's one of those clubs.
Well, keep in mind Gattuso was a win-at-all-costs guy, and he almost had Milan in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Now, I think if they got rid of some of the bums who were wearing the Rossonero before, I think they'd been fine. But, unfortunately, they made the wrong choice, and they got rid of my mans. And as a result, they put themselves in some dire straits. But
how do you really feel?
I am a Gattuso defender. I wanted him to stab players with forks to get the wins. You have to do what you have to do. He would have. But I think at this point, I think Simeone would be the guy who would inject not only the energy back into that club, but I think he's someone who would be able to find the people who need to be out and get them out, and players who may be a C+, B- player, I think he can lift them up to at least a high B+. Just on energy level alone, he can make that happen because you're either producing and running for that man or you're not playing. So that would be my choice. I would love for Simeone to show up in Milan.
Yeah, I think no matter how things finish out at Lecce, I don't think he's back next year.
Right.
No.
I think it'd be good for him and be good for the club to move on. What about England?
Well, you want to start with the FA Cup?
Yeah.
And go through the Liverpudlian perspective that we talked about before the show?
Yes.
Well, let's just talk about Strawberry Town. Or
Not their name. Be respectful.
Shrewsbury.
Eden Hazard is not here. He might have eaten too many strawberries on
Down
the way.
2-0, come back to 2-2. You get a replay, and the world cackled.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why in the world has England not realized that nobody wants replays anymore, and it's time to actually get into not even 2020, but 1990?
So like the late 20th century?
Marketing
Nobody
dollars.
else does it. It's stupid.
How much money do you think you could get per FA Cup game?
It's the romance of the FA Cup.
No, yeah,
That's garbage.
Romance, it's pound sterling. That's romance. That's
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash.
It's garbage. It's all nobody's buying replays. Nobody's saying, I got to have replays.
Your opinion does not generate revenue, sir.
Shrewsbury Town will
How
be
about?
making
No, then let me
$11
ask you this.
billion at the replay at Anfield.
How about is Liverpool's U23 side and Jurgen Klopp sitting on a beach somewhere drinking a margarita? Is that going to bring in dollars?
Is the game going to be shown on television?
Yeah, this
Then
time.
it's gonna
What about next
generate
time?
dollars.
Because next time, if I'm a network, I'm going to say, your best team in the league and your best team in the country said, I'm just going to send the kids, and the manager isn't even going to show up. So, I'm not giving you millions of dollars. I'm giving you less.
Well, because what they'll do is they'll replace it with the next highest rated game, and
It's going away. They're getting away. They're going to get rid of replays.
there's no way.
No.
Yeah, they're getting rid of it.
There's
No.
too
This
much
is
money.
nonsense.
No.
Jason, never underestimate the power of the status quo.
It's stupid. It's nonsense, and they need to stop being so stubborn and actually let referees go to the pitch side monitors too.
It's not stubborn. It's
Yes, it is
cash.
absolutely stubborn.
It's
Nobody else
all
does
about
it.
money.
No, who else does it? Nobody.
Because if you have the option of running extra games
I'm just
and
gonna sit
making
back
extra
here.
cash. Why are you not taking it? If I'm the FA and I say,
Ask
okay,
Spain. Ask Italy.
okay, well then
Germany.
they're morons because if they had an extra
US Open Cup.
if they had extra tournaments, they could make more money. In England, they can get away with it because the money is there. In Italy, I don't think the money's there for it. In Spain, the money might be there for it, so I don't know why they're not doing it.
They do
Maybe
two
the
legs.
players go on strike.
They do 2 legs in the Copa del Rey.
Well, in France, the same thing. Maybe they go on strike. Everybody goes on strike in Spain and France, but
It's not happening.
You're not doing that in England because if you tell these teams, hey, Liverpool, you're showing up for the energy drink cup, then
Gummy bear
That one
cup.
they're going to get rid of too because
No.
that's a waste of time as well. Get rid of
Nope.
replays and get rid of the Gummy Bear Cup.
as long as the money, as long as the check clears, the games will be played.
They're going to get away with it. They're going to get away from it because
On what planet do you exist where you think teams and federations will turn down cash?
Liverpool's sending their U23 squad because they don't want to be there and they can't be. They already did this in the Gummy Bear Cup.
Exactly.
Because they have too many games.
Okay,
and
so-
that's Liverpool. What about a championship club that's playing 46 games a year?
Uh-huh.
They don't have time for replays anymore. Nobody can do
But
it. They can't
have
make the
time
calendar
for
work.
the money.
No, they can't make the calendar work.
They have time for the money.
But the problem is now nobody's showing up anymore.
Okay, what happens?
The attendances are down because the competition has been devalued because
And you're having to play.
you have these situations.
And you're having to play matches in midweek that are replays, and folks are being selective when it comes to their income and what matches they want to go see. And these midweek games, whether it's Gummy Bear or FA or replay, that's the one that folks are choosing that they don't want to be a part of.
Can I
anymore.
turn the money argument around on you?
if you could turn money arguments around me, please, by
I'm
all
going
means.
to,
I
because-
welcome it.
Is Sunderland, Strawberry Town, Oxford United, is
no.
their money more important than Liverpool's money and Manchester City's money and the mega clubs who are the ones who are really dealing with this, with the fixture congestion? I think the heavyweights are going to throw that heavyweight around and get rid of it. And I think Klopp's statement is going to be citation number 1.
My pushback on that is for the top 4.
I think championship 2. I think the number of games.
Insert top 4 teams here. They may have an issue with it, and they may scream and yell and moan about, we want, we don't want to do this. It's too congested. We're going to send our U23 team, blah, 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 blah. But there are a lot of teams and a lot of managers whose prestige is maintained by winning the FA Cup. And teams who, just like Lazio winning the Coppa Italia, well, they get to wear that wonderful little tricolor circle on their chest. There are some teams that if they win the FA Cup, that's what makes us relevant. That's what makes us A-OK. It's not going away. The money is there, and there are too many teams that are saying, no, we're good with this. Just keep that check coming. Keep that check. Because what happens if Liverpool's U23s win?
The romance of the FA Cup.
The romance of the FA Cup. Oh, my gosh. It's on every highlight reel.
Then every club outside of the ones that actually care about the league competition will be cheering for Liverpool's U23s.
And?
But they really should be cheering for Strawberry Town because that's the romance of the cup.
I agree with you. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Shrewsbury Town. I apologize.
The check clears. If the check clears, never underestimate the power of the status quo. As long as the checks are clearing, the games will be played.
Never underestimate the heavyweight power either.
The heavyweight powers, it's minimal. Especially when you have these teams talking about, well, we're probably going to leave the Prem anyway and do this super club, this Super League thing. I get it.
They're going to say they want no part of the Gummy Bear Cup or the replays.
They're just going to play in the Super League Cup.
But if there's ad value to be had, they're going to exercise it. They're going to exercise it.
If they had added it because of TVs, I'd be with you. If they had added it because of TV, it's a dumb tradition they've never gotten rid of.
Okay, so make up the money for me. Make up the money for me. Tell me how the money makes sense.
I don't think the money matters about replays. I mean, you get a few extra games because of replays that you can't schedule for and you can't plan for because you don't know if they're going to happen. I don't think it's that big of a part of the TV contract to begin with. I don't think it matters.
when you have these replays, especially in the later rounds against Premier League sides or championship sides, what the financial outlay ends up being for the lower division.
I don't think it's
side.
about TV. I think it's about gate.
I'm talking gate.
Yeah, but that's a different conversation. If you're talking about wanting to deal with that, then you just make it to where cup games, the gate is more equally split, period. And that's easily done. If that's the issue, which I think is more of the argument, that a club like Shrewsbury Town, the first game was at Shrewsbury, right? So they get to go to Anfield.
Yeah, they get to go to Anfield.
They're going to get money from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have to get more money from that to not have replays, that'll happen.
What do you think they're getting? Like $1 million pounds?
I have no idea what the split
I don't know
is.
what the outlay is.
I
what
mean,
the
okay,
percentage
so here's the thing. If we go to by the college
it
football
flips.
model, okay, the three sisters of the blind and poor show up to play Alabama,
FC.
and they end up making what, $2 or $3 million.
Yep.
And people scream and yell, "Oh, that game should have never happened." Alabama's playing a cupcake. Florida's playing a cupcake. Georgia's playing a cupcake.
I'm not going down this road with you, Paul.
But they're playing playing meaningful games, and then the coaches come out and go, well, hold up, because we got to have an opportunity for some of our younger players to develop in a game time situation. Blah blah blah.
They're getting away from those two, by the way.
No, I'm just
because that's a stupid tradition as well.
No, but what I'm saying is that game still appears on television in some places, and
Not many.
and radio, and there's ad
Pay-per-view.
revenue. There's ad revenue to be generated. If Shrewsbury, where else can Shrewsbury show up somewhere and make £1 million?
In the FA Cup draw, and they got their game, and you wouldn't have a second game. You would actually have penalties to decide it, so these teams don't have to play an extra game.
If the draw shows up and you go to Shrewsbury Town instead of Liverpool, do you think you're making $1 million?
No. Well,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what you're making at Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury Stadium seats 9,700 people.
You're packing it, and you can up the
Okay,
ticket price.
But you can up the ticket price. You're going to pack
So,
it out.
okay,
but
so
it's
wait
not
a minute. Now-
remotely the same as showing up at Anfield, collecting a portion of the gate, and getting TV money.
So let's go down this road. So now the argument, and I want to follow this. I want to make sure.
Let's go.
Shrewsbury should have played for the draw at home in front of their fans to get the second game where they go to Anfield because they can make some extra money.
You're telling me that Shrewsbury should have played it for a draw? Yes. Shrewsbury? No. Shrewsbury can only play against Liverpool one way, and that is
Liverpool had
nuclear,
one regular
drunken
guy out there.
kamikaze. That's it. That's the only way you play. We're throwing
They
everybody.
could have been drunk. I don't know.
I
but you get to 1-1, and okay, they get a penalty.
But
Should they miss the penalty?
It's Liverpool. No, you go to
$1
win.
million, man.
Look, you go to win. Because you go to win because you're going to try, because you know Mo Salah's on the bench getting ready to come. No, score, because you know they're going to score.
Went to
you know they're going to score.
Okay.
You know that Liverpool's going to score.
Here's the deal. According to Financial Football News with the gate receipts are ticket sales go to the home team. However, in the FA Cup, they're split. The amount split is the net gate receipt. That's the gate receipts less expenses.
Okay.
In addition, around 15% of matchday tickets are allocated to the away team for FA Cup.
Okay, I mean, the allocation doesn't matter if you're splitting it, but is it an equal split?
Yeah. So basically what you're
So that doesn't matter where the games are.
So what you're getting,
you're just getting an extra game.
You're getting an extra game to give you that extra split.
So, and it goes either way because the smaller clubs will argue it both ways. If they play in the bigger club's venue and then get to bring them to their building, everybody's happy. And in this case, where they get to go and get a split at Anfield in this, okay, cool, they get both. So it doesn't really matter which order it goes in. I just think the argument is going to be more about the number of games these teams are playing and the complications that a replay brings.
See, you're looking at it from the player management side. I'm looking at it from the bookkeeper side. Because nowhere else am I going to get that kind of cash injection overnight.
You're getting it from the gate. You're not. I really don't think it affects the TV contract. I don't think it matters about the TV contract because you can't guarantee them.
If I'm, Paulie's Pub FC and I draw against Man City, my God in heaven, what you mean we're going to Etihad? Oh yes, okay, champagne
and
all around.
And if you're Paulie's Pub FC,
yeah.
You get a bigger percentage because of what's written into the bylaw.
And you know what? Orange whip, 3 orange whips right here because we're celebrating.
You don't get a bigger percentage. You're proposing that you would get a bigger percentage, right?
From the 3rd through the 6th rounds.
Okay.
10% taken from net gate, so each team gets 45%.
Yep.
However, where one of the clubs is outside the football league, that club gets 50%, the other club 40%.
Which never happens.
Yeah,
so.
10% to the pool.
I mean,
it is written in if you have the magic of the FA Cup.
Right, like once every 5-6 years that happens.
Right.
So
but
it's one club.
But it's a lottery, and it's a realistic lottery if you're one of these smaller clubs.
But no, you're going to get that automatically. You're going to get that. You're just not getting the replay. I'm only talking about the replay.
Okay.
The replay is so complicated and so convoluted and so old that it needs to change. There's no value in the replay outside of an extra gate. And an extra gate is not worth it to a Liverpool, to a big club where it starts to affect it.
It is your tax for
sway.
being in a league where you get to make
all the more reason for them to go to the Super League.
Buffoonish money.
Yeah, they want to keep more of it.
You're not going to get financial fair play if you're Liverpool. You're not going to get financial fair play if you're Chelsea or, shockingly, Man U. But if you can play a game that somehow benefits a Shrewsbury, by all means, make the game happen. And if we have to lose Energy Drink FC, cup to make it happen, or Gummy Bear tournament or whatever you want to call it, FA can make some rules. Hey, look, we're cutting the Carabao Cup in half.
FA has nothing to do with league.
We're not FA,
that's
but
where
I'm
the
just talking
complication
league play or
comes in.
whatever.
TV revenue, same article. Up until and including the 5th round, the amount of money for those broadcasts is more than the amount given for winning the match. So if you lose a televised first-round match, it's more lucrative than winning a first- or second-round non-televised match in the terms of winning alone.
Yeah, so if you get a replay, it gives you more of a chance for it to be on TV because there's less games.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a financial benefit to it there.
So there's the two benefits.
You're gonna have a massive fight through different agencies here because this is open. This has been a bubbling thing. Like, people have complained about it for years. Top clubs have complained about it. This is actually like throwing it out there big time. But you've got people complaining about the League Cup. That's the league running it, not the FA. This is the FA Cup. And then you've got the big clubs that want to fight about both and different aspects of it. It's going to be ugly. And I think you're going to get to a point where clubs do what Liverpool's doing because they want to, period, not because of scheduling crises and winter breaks and all that. And that's what's added to this time, is finally England has figured out that maybe you should not just play the crazy schedule that you have and then just keep playing a normal schedule afterwards and have everybody pull up with a hamstring and a quad injury because you're playing them too many minutes. And now you have all these other games too. You're adding a winter break. That's great. But now your winter break is at a time where you've got a replay to deal with, and Liverpool's going to send the kids' team.
Okay.
It's all stupid and devalues all of the competitions, and they've got to figure out a better way to deal with it. And you're going to have a huge fight. And this is going to be the firecracker that kicks it to another level.
This is global. This is a global issue because you have
replays are just stupid.
You have La Liga teams that were talking until it got vetoed at the last minute about playing a league game here in the United States. Why? Money.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Teams are willing to do titanically stupid things for money. If that's the one thing that has existed in mankind's history, is that humans will do incredibly stupid things for money. Just look at game shows
but this
and
is
all this
small
other
money.
stuff.
This isn't big money. This is small money. Small money doesn't matter.
For a top 4 club, yes.
But they're the ones with the power.
It is game-changing.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is the top clubs, and it's not just the top 4. I think it is.
Not in the FA, they don't. In the FA, they don't have the power. In the Prem, yes, but in the FA, no.
You'd be surprised. But I think it's not even just a top 4 thing, because if I'm a championship club and I'm playing 46 matches and they don't have a winter break, as far as I know, so you're playing the crowded, stupid schedule, and you're doing everything, and all your players are getting injured. You have this coming up more because you're in an era where clubs know more about sports science. They know more about workload. They know more about load management and all these things. And you're not going to keep running these guys out because the revenue's great, but the asset of a player that you've invested in is even more important. And if you're blowing hamstrings and blowing quads, you're going to have these issues, and
You're
you're going to get to a
depreciating
point.
your asset at that.
You're going to get to a point where clubs are like, we're not putting our top teams into these competitions.
Liverpool did not have to trot out Mo Salah at the end of that game, but they did. You can, and it is easily done, you can throw a game when you want to. And if these teams don't want to play in the tournament, that's fantastic. Throw out early in the tournament. You just go out there and you tell your boys, hey, look, we don't really care. Just walk out of here with an L, however you have to do it, and call it a day. They could do that, but they don't. They choose to play.
This is the Italian speaking, by the way.
It is the Italian speaking.
Because I don't think the English are going to go for that.
I don't care, but
it's not very British of you.
There is not a British bone in the body. I'm just saying. All I am saying is, there are ways around it. If you're Jurgen Klopp, and you're like, you know what, boys? All I care about is winning the Prem and the Champions League. Again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All I care about. Here's what we're going to do. Mo, you're playing keeper today. And let's see. Allison, I need you at starting.
I'm
you're
sure
my starting
in the
left midfielder.
Gigantic FA rule book that covers everything. There's probably something about fielding a competitive squad.
No, because to quote the great Ian Holloway of when he was managing Blackpool, I'm the manager of Blackpool. I play my team however I want to play.
Where's he managing these days?
I don't care, but he probably at Paulie's Pub.
He might be at Paulie's Pub FC. He might be managing Paulie's Pub, period, not the FC part.
That's right. But, the thing is, though, is that he can say, you know what, I'm experimenting. I wanted to see how this...
I want to see how Mo Salah doesn't go.
I want to see how this works out. Mo showed us some things in training.
To answer your question, he's at Grimsby Town, by the way.
There we go. Grimsby Town.
That's
all right,
one
there we go.
step up from Paulie's Pub.
That is literally one step up. I think it's 3 blocks down from St. Paulie's Pub
it's a
FC.
huge derby.
But he could say, Mo showed us some things in training. I'm very excited about this.
I definitely think it can advance his career.
Yeah, it could advance his career, make him some more money, help us in the transfer window. Look, it's easily done, but they don't do it. They compete. None of these teams have to compete.
And then they send their U23 squad, and the manager's like, I'm not going to bother to show up. I'll be having a margarita instead.
Oh,
Amen. By the way,
I love it.
That's why they need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
You're mad because you drew. You're mad because you drew when you have an extra game. You don't want to have the extra game. You want to go on vacation, win the game that's in front of you. That's job one.
That's why they brought Mo Salah into the end.
Exactly. They tried to close the door.
And you didn't get it done.
Yeah, so now they're not going to play the second game. They're just going to send the U23s.
They tried Mo Salah out there for 10 minutes. It didn't work. He's going to get the day off anyway for the replay.
He's getting the day off, and Klopp's going to be, sipping margaritas.
Kicking back and
good.
That's the part. Okay, I don't.
Extra primo good.
I want to make this one thing clear because I know we have a couple tweets. I want to say this. I don't have a problem with them sending the U23s because it's the winter break and they need to do it and they've got bigger fish to fry. You can't tell me about Liverpool's ambition to do a treble when you do that because and it's the right thing to do. They're doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. The issue I have is Klopp saying I'm not going to show up either.
Yeah.
Because he can show up. He doesn't have to actually train the team that week. He can take the week off. He can sit in his office all day. He can do whatever. But show up. It is the competition. When you're not showing up, there's no argument. He's not going to pull a hamstring, I don't think, although he is pretty active on the touchline. I don't think he's going to have to worry about the load management. He can take a break, and he can just show up and sit on the bench while the U23 manager
theoretically
runs him through. But he can show up. That's disrespectful. So you can't give me the tournament's a big deal, then we're ambitious and we want to win everything, and then not show up.
No, I respect Jurgen Klopp, but he was a moron for saying that.
He shouldn't have said that.
He should have been like, we're looking forward to that second. It's going to be great. Guys, I think
great experience for the young players. All that.
I went to Florence and I ate some lampredotto, and which is like pig guts sandwich. Cow gut sandwich.
The hell did this turn into?
Yeah, and I got a tapeworm. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I'm not going to be able to manage the next game, guys. I'm so sick. I can't make the game. I cannot make the game.
The soundbite by smiling.
Yeah, and the veneers are on full blast, and then you hear the seagulls in the background, because he's in Malta or something hanging out.
Oh, and for the record, Ian Holloway, when he joined Grimsby Town just after Christmas, he became a share owner in the club, and he will attend board meetings in addition to his duties as club manager.
Good for him.
Oh, and the fifth round FA Cup draw, the round of 16, we have our matchups, by the way.
Okay.
Sheffield Wednesday and Manchester City. Thanks for coming Wednesday. Reading or Cardiff against Sheffield United. Chelsea will play the winner of Strawberry Town or Liverpool. West Brom will get the winner of Newcastle and Oxford United, and I am cheering so hard for Newcastle United in that one. They should have put it away. It was one of the most frustrating games to watch on the weekend.
Typical Newcastle.
Yes, and now apparently the Sheikhs are coming in with a mid 300-pound bid to possibly take the club away from Mike Ashley. Where have we heard that before? Leicester will play the winner of Coventry City.
I think it's already falling apart, actually.
Not a shock. Leicester will play the winner of Coventry City or Birmingham. Northampton or Derby will get Manchester United. So if Derby wins the replay, you could have Wayne Rooney versus Manchester United.
Ooh.
Okay. Southampton.
The magic of the cup right there.
Magic of the FA Cup. Southampton or Spurs to go up against Norwich, who beat Burnley. And then Portsmouth up. Pompey up. Up with Pompey.
Up the Pompey.
We'll get Arsenal.
I don't know. Pompey fans got really bent out of shape about Anton Walks.
Half of them did.
No, most. Like I had a bunch of people up in my mentions because I said he was versatile.
Well,
does versatile mean crap?
And that's what I saw. I saw the half that were talking to you about that, about him being versatile, and the others like, well, he never played. See ya.
I didn't have any of that. I had people yelling at me because I said he was versatile. So who's Pompey playing?
Arsenal.
Oh, that's painful. But go Arsenal. Sorry, Pompey.
I can't bring myself to say that.
I did.
Nope, I can't.
No, I can't.
Not
bring myself.
happening.
No.
I did it.
Refuse.
I did it. They can't go to another replay. I hope it goes to penalties.
In fact,
no.
You know what? Hold up. I think I found a thing that will make me do it. Blind capitalism will make me say, "Go Arsenal." Get the replay.
There you go. It fits with the mode you're in. So yes.
Money. And for Ian Holloway, that's not securing the bag. That's like securing a wallet. But
yes.
Secure that wallet, sir. Do we have tweets?
That's securing a small envelope.
Yes. we have a couple from Nathan Pugh.
Ooh, go ahead.
Nathan Pugh, up the Reds. That is all.
Pew.
Except in the FA Cup where they send the U23s and Jurgen Klopp doesn't show up.
And then the follow-up from Nathan, which he brought in this morning, and this is the other tweet in the queue. Basically, no, Nathan, I don't know about Billie Eilish.
Okay, I thought he said something else, but anyway.
No, he added me and said, did you just essentially say that the FA Cup replays are a tax on the rich? Socialist footy.
So, what you think?
Yeah, I did say that.
He did.
I did. Hey, if there's a way for some of these bigger clubs to help a Shrewsbury Town,
cut a check.
Cut a check and do it.
Just cut a check. Don't do a replay. Just cut a check.
So you want a tax. You don't want entertainment.
I'm not entertained by
Jason wants these teams to cut a check for no reason at all, not the utilization of services.
I've tried watching a Shrewsbury Town match before. It's not good.
And instead he wants them just to cut a check. I am asking for a true capitalistic experience. I want ad revenue. I want gate revenue. I want
the Liverpool U23 team has no pull in anything, and Jurgen Klopp said he's not showing up. So
the local pubs will be generating revenue. No,
they
Nathan,
won't.
I do not want.
They will not in Liverpool.
Socialism. I want economics driven by the love of sport, Mr. Pew.
There's no love of sport when they're sending the U23s and Jurgen Klopp is
that is an opinion.
Eating schnitzel.
That is an opinion, sir.
He's not showing up.
All right.
Good.
You want
disrespecting the competition?
Gossip, rumor, and innuendo out of England?
Sure, because I'm sure there's plenty.
From the Sun, Kylian Mbappe is open to a move to Liverpool, but the PSG superstar will set the Reds back £253 million.
Yeah, I'm not trusting that outlet.
No way.
As far as they can, throw their newspaper. So no.
No.
Manchester United and Tottenham are both chasing after Islam Slimani after both clubs are looking to sign the Leicester forward. United is also discussing a deal to bring former PSG transfer guru Antero Henrique in to oversee the club's transfer activity.
He's a transfer guru?
I
For
guess
PSG?
So. He used to be he's former PSG, but Manchester United's looking possibly to bring in Henrique to help out with their transfers.
PSG, I would not consider a guru of the transfer market at any point.
Not at
all.
So here, we're going to cut a check.
You're calling him a guru because you're just trying to sell it.
Yeah.
It's good that they're trying to move on from Ed. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go. Just go, Ed.
Go.
But bringing in the PSG transfer guru, who I don't think they pulled off a guru move.
Cuts a check.
They've had a lot of success in Europe, guys. A lot of success.
That's classic Manchester United at this point.
Making the Sweet 16 in Champions League. That's a lot of success. That's how you.
Well, let me put it this way. He couldn't be worse than what you have right now. I don't think. Have you seen Manchester United lately?
Ed Woodward
That's
is
a bold
awful.
statement.
Have you seen Manchester United for a long time? It would be
They're
very
fifth in the
difficult.
table. They're fifth in the table. It's not like they're like at 16th. They're fifth in the table. It's terrible to watch. It's not entertaining.
But that's the thing. Fifth in the table isn't what fifth in the table used to be anymore in England. Fifth in the table means you are miles and miles and miles away from the top two. And that's not where that club expects to be. And that's the problem.
Everton is reportedly ready to make a move for Inter midfielder Matias Vecino.
Is there a dollar amount on that?
Not at the moment.
As I talk with my fries?
Nothing wrong with talking with your fries. Nothing wrong with talking with your fries.
Make the move if you can. Go for it.
Oh, and according to the Daily Mail, to the point that you were making, Jason, the Premier League warned clubs that arranging games during the winter break could damage the mental health of their players.
Yeah. Have you seen not even. Let's talk about the physical health first, because the physical health is going to affect the mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing that many games. You're playing Thursday, Saturday, because why?
Yeah.
Because, again, nobody else does it. And every time somebody says something like, this is kind of a bad idea, guys, there's like studies to say that you probably shouldn't do this. But it's so great to have all these games on. And then everybody pulls a hamstring and tears a quad.
Uh-huh.
And then you have a bunch of injuries. So
You got to figure it out. Maybe they need to stop being so darn English about it and learn how to fake injuries. Learn how to fake injuries. Learn how to manipulate your rosters and learn how to throw games.
I thought Chelsea and Manchester City already did that.
Well, learn from the best then. Look, call me up. I will offer my services. I will get all the managers in the room and say, this is how you manipulate your roster so that way you don't have to run a full field lineup out and have it look believable.
it's not happening.
We should.
No, it's not.
Ad rep.
Because nobody else in the world does that schedule. It's stupid. They went to a winter break. It's like a rotating winter break, kind of, where like half the teams have some time off here and half the teams have some time off here. It's not even standardized.
It's like a half bye week.
It's like some teams have like 18 days and some teams have 13. It's just stupid. Just like look at what these other leagues are doing that actually use some common sense, even if they're cheating like scoundrels in some leagues. Just saying, maybe that happens.
They're being creative.
I feel attacked.
Cheating.
You know, it's ridiculous. Like let's have replays and let's play like 75 games in a 2-month period, and everybody's going to be just fine.
Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are bracing for an offer from Barca for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Are they bracing for that?
Bracing for it.
Are they hoping for that?
Arteta wants to keep him.
Well, I think hoping might be the. I'm not expecting that one.
Regarding our issue with the FA Cup, do like they do with college basketball, and you have what is it? You have the main tournament, and then you have the sub tournament below that, right?
That's about to be English football as a whole when the Super League starts, but okay.
I'm just saying, that's what you do, right? You run the NIT. You have an NIT for the Shrewsburys.
It's kind of what the League Cup's turned into, actually.
It's like Team 65.
Yeah, whatever. And you say,
69.
hey, look, here are the teams that are showing up.
The rest of them are playing their U23s.
Poly Pub FC, you're in the NIT. I love it. You do your best, and then go out there.
I think they have those tournaments. They have. Oh, man.
The Johnston's Paint Trophy.
Yeah, they go through all these different names. I can't keep up with what the names are, but they get to play a final at Wembley, and it's like the League Two and conference teams in certain parts that get to play in it.
Yeah.
They have those.
Okay.
So they already ripped that idea off
a
long time ago.
Okay, now I thought that this was something that was physically impossible.
Oh, boy, here we go.
According to the Daily Express, Manchester United are planning on recalling Alexis Sanchez from his loan spell at Inter.
Well, they can try, but they don't have a recall clause.
You're going to go to court for it, and the court's going to laugh you out.
Or they're going to throw money at it. I mean, that's more likely about it.
That's by far the more likely option.
And apparently the talk that has died down has picked back up, that died down has picked back up again with Giroud and Inter.
Giroud going where?
Inter.
I think that move actually can make some sense. I'm not completely opposed to it. You know, would you prefer a younger player to come in? Sure, but at the same time, if you're talking about adding some depth, maybe a little veteran leadership, all right, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Inter couldn't agree. This is from Dharmesh Sheth at Sky. Inter couldn't agree on a fee, turned their attention to Llorente, but the loan fell through. Napoli wanted to keep Llorente as backup, and the latest information we have from Italy is that the clubs, Chelsea and Inter, are close to an agreement that would see Giroud get a 2.5-year deal.
That's fine. Go for it. I mean, at this point, you need depth, because if you're Inter, you cannot afford a tremendous fall off, and if you need somebody that you can spell for, 3, 4, 5 games, by all means, you could do worse than Giroud.
And the latest, one more to go with the latest on Cavani. Chelsea is perhaps chasing after Cavani now. Cavani wants to play for Simeone, quite close to getting the move from Atletico Madrid.
Might have to hurry on that one.
Yeah, this is from Keve Sohokal at Sky. He's only got 6 months left on his contract at PSG, asking for about €15 million, wages of £360,000 a week. Hasn't been playing regularly, so I think it'd be a big risk for Chelsea. Yes, there have been talks, but it'll only happen if the Atletico move falls through.
So okay, let me go back to the Giroud one to Inter. So Inter needs some depth up top, right?
Yep.
I got a player for him. He's out of contract.
Ooh.
He's played in big clubs before.
Woo.
He's 32.
Okay.
He's played at clubs like Arsenal, Juventus.
Okay.
He's out of contract as of 27 days ago.
Out of contract.
So that
and
would be...
he is getting ready to get his own TV series.
Oh, yes.
Bentner and Feline is going to premiere on Danish television very soon.
Womp, 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 womp.
No, it's going to be exciting. On social media, thousands of Danes follow Nicholas Bentner and girlfriend Feline Ropstorff's luxurious lifestyle, which includes exotic trips, glamorous parties, and expensive cars. In the new D-Play series, Bentner and Feline, the Danes get a completely different insight into the couple's life as it plays out entirely without a filter, the press release states.
So if they're pretentious rich clowns and they're known for that, what exactly is different with this TV show?
In the new series, they are allowed, quote, to be on the sidelines when Bentner has to make big decisions on the career front, and when Feline is living the changing model life and traveling around the world on her own.
Dun, dun, dun. Dramatic music cued.
That's a hard pass.
No, he's out of contract. You get it for free. You can tie it into the series. Come on.
No, if you're Inter, you've already been down this road.
No.
With a psychopath.
This would go better than that one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Always a great decision to get a media-hungry couple front and center at your team for the second time because you learned absolutely nothing the first go round. I would say absolute hard pass, and please take that rumor, douse it in gasoline, and set it on fire.
I'm trying to start that rumor, by the way. I don't think there's really a rumor to it, but it'd be a good one because he's free.
Did you guys see the front of the PSV Eindhoven jersey this weekend?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the Gettysburg Address.
Like, why? I didn't read the story behind it. I just knew it was like a paragraph of stuff.
Yeah. It tells the history of the club.
Okay. That's cool.
Founded by Phillips.
That's not as cool as Nicholas Bentner's reality show, though.
What?
It's no, because Nicholas Bentner says, because he's got more to say. You guys wanted to cut Nicholas off.
I'm cutting him off.
He says, both Feline and I are used to being in the media spotlight. Many stories are written about us.
This is such a hard idea.
And we often, the Danish do. They follow him on social media.
I'm glad the Danes
it's a Danish series, so,
okay, good.
He wrote a book, too.
Oh, great.
He wrote a book that somebody praised as being
literate,
wrote a book for
which
is good.
Yeah. Has the elephant been colored in yet? Because if I'm going to buy it, I want to color in the elephant myself.
Somebody just praised the book
You're
for
going to highlight the sections that you have disagreements with?
There's no highlighted sections. I need colors. I need red. I need green and brown and gray.
Okay,
because I want the colored picture. I want the pictures to be colored correctly.
Guys. This is translated, but this could be the greatest paragraph in the history of Danish media.
Oh wow.
A bold statement.
It's translated, so I don't know if we're getting the full description of it, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I guess Berlingske is a magazine or something.
Sure.
Birgit Borup praised Bentner's book for being both literate, that's quoted.
I hope books are literate.
Yeah, and quote, at times instructive, epic, written in a language. Again, this is translated. As tight as the panty on the strippers, Bentner often frequents.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I told you. This is the greatest
Must
paragraph.
read.
I want to see this show now. I want to read the
Hold
book.
on. I'm going on Amazon.
All right, so run that by me one more time because I've laughed through most of it. Go ahead.
It's written in a language, quote, as tight as the panty on the strippers, Bentner often frequents.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's the greatest review.
Good to know that Bentner frequents.
What's the name of the book?
I mean, I don't know.
I need the name of the book.
Just go Nicholas Bentner book on the
That's
Twitter.
Probably in Danish.
On the Google.
You might need to see if Google translates it for you.
Yeah.
You might need the ebook translated. He quit FC Copenhagen in December. Okay, it gets better. Back then, this is in the article. Back then, the football player told the club's website that he was now in the thinking box.
That's the beauty.
This is amazing.
That's the beauty of translation. He's in the thinking box.
I want to go to the thinking box. Now I want to think about my future and think carefully about whether I should try a new adventure in the football world or say stop and start some new adventures in life.
Oh, no. He's coming out of the thinking box.
I want to go to the thinking box.
Nicholas Bentner, the audio book.
Oh, it's an audio book?
They have an Audible audio book
In English?
that's been marked down from $3.90 to $0.00.
They're giving away
Are
the
you
audio
sure? Are you
book?
sure that that's not just a giveaway for being a part of?
I'm looking at this right now on Amazon Prime. I'm looking at
You
it.
sure it's not like if you want a membership, we'll give this to you for free?
Sir, there's no.
Oh, then you've got to pick that up. You've got to purchase that.
I can't read. I can't understand Danish.
Then do we have a Danish correspondent?
We need one. We need like selections from this book.
We need
on
quoted,
a regular basis.
We need quoted sections from this book.
Wow.
We need it read to us, and we need to have that for the show every week because this is amazing.
Yes.
On further review, it looks like you may be correct. It may be a promotional thing,
But still, $3 and
$3.41 is the buy it now price. Should you have no other,
And understand Danish.
understand Danish, obviously.
So
but
honestly, here's what we're doing. If anyone out there understands Danish and can translate it,
And can read selections and record it and send it to us so we can include it in Soccer Over There.
that would be
We will
epic.
do this.
yes,
Because we need to figure out what happened in the thinking box that made Nicholas Bentner want to produce this tome that is instructionally epic.
all right, I'm waiting on this. This right here, I think. I mean, this is the Iliad.
Or is it the Odyssey?
Oh, it could be. It could be both. A bit of both. Oh, Parky on line one.
Yeah, Parky, we got a media career for you.
Yes.
It will be translating Nicholas Bentner's book.
Parky
with the
seems like
language.
someone who, from what I understand, Parky likes to frequent Chili's and get fajitas. Is that it? Does he Applebee's and Chili's such
I
establishments?
wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, well, I'm willing to get him a gift certificate of his choosing. Should he be willing to listen to this epic quest through European football and provide us some glimpse, some glimmer of the thinking box of Nicholas Bentner?
He has a Guinness World Record, so do not
Michael
hold on,
Parkhurst?
whoa.
do not say bad things about Nicholas Bentner.
What is this?
The fastest goal in Premier League history is a substitute. He scored in 1.8 seconds.
Is that a Guinness
That's what
world record?
That's what Sports Bible says, so I'm going to trust him. I mean, it's the fastest, so I guess.
As long as that that epic read is quote what is it tighter than the underwear
panty on the stripper
that
he frequents.
Now, well, first of all, we are broadcasting live from Atlanta, Georgia, so that is a mighty bold statement.
That is
by said person
True.
who is there's some legendary establishments here. Not that I've ever frequent any of those at all, never. But I would say that
Magic City. Here we come.
that is the that might require the Pepsi challenge. I may have to hear about what this guy what this story has in it.
I want to see the show. I mean, now I'm excited. This sounds like a great show. You've got the model.
I want the translated sections of the book.
No, I want that
the
too.
egress
I'm
of the
not
thinking
picking.
box.
Trust me. I'm not picking. I mean, so just what I found tonight is you find a story like this and you start digging deeper.
You go rabbit hole to rabbit hole.
No, what I found is you just need to do a search occasionally for Nicholas Bentner and see what the latest news is. I mean, you might go back a few months, but you get things like a headline in The Guardian, Nicholas Bentner, quote, Henry tells me to shut up. I shout back that he should shut up. And it's like, what? This is an exclusive extract from his new book.
Oh, there you go.
This is just how the Guardian article starts. In an exclusive extract from his new book, the Dane describes hiding in the ladies' toilet at the Arsenal Academy, a bust-up with Henri. So it's Henri, it's not Henry. I thought it could be somebody else. And enjoying the nightlife with his agent. So, I'm just saying.
Michael Parkhurst, we need you to translate.
All right, well, this
stuff.
is translated, so let's see. Let's take a quick scan and see if there's anything good here.
Mondays with Bentner.
Yeah, that might be a regular thing at this case. Good grief. Let's see. I'm skimming.
Just skim aloud.
Well, no, I mean it's not all good.
So you're looking for you're skimming for highlights, basically.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I'm looking for keywords. So, let's see here.
Jason's in the thinking box.
Definitely in the thinking box.
So this is gonna be amazing.
See the build up here, and you're going to kill it.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if it's going to be good enough.
Damn it!
So he gets into going to Liam Brady's office,
toilet.
who I guess was not yet. I haven't got there yet. Liam Brady, I guess, was the head of the Arsenal Academy, and Liam Brady says, "Look, son, I don't think you understand what is at stake here, and how many boys would give their right arm to have the chance you have now. I think simply that you are not ready." Bentner writes and says, I get a long speech that I was a big fish in a small pond in Denmark, that I look at football as something I am automatically best at, that I shouldn't be thinking about cars, expensive watches, and model girlfriends. That is something you get when you deserve it, and then the only way there is hard work. He is staring right at me as he talks to me. His gaze doesn't deviate an inch. I try to stare back to show that I am strong, but I can also feel that my eyes are welling up. My mouth opens and I can hear my own voice. I am agreeing with him. Even though I am doing more okay, I am now a long way from being outstanding. And okay, it keeps going.
There we go.
This is amazing.
This is great stuff.
I feel like Rudy Rod right now on The Fifth Element. This is the greatest show that we have ever done. This is it. This is the zenith.
It might be.
It might be time to kill the show, guys, because we're not beating the Nicholas Bentner book.
So, okay. In May 2005, I'm able to sum up my first year in an Arsenal shirt. Since Brady threatened to cancel my contract, I've made big strides forward. I've scored 12 goals in 18 games for the under-18s and 5 goals for the reserves. Increasingly, I'm training with the first team every week, and sometimes I forget that I'm just on trial with the big boys. During one session, we are playing 11v11 with a maximum of 2 touches at a time. I'm standing in a position to see Thierry Henry touching it 3 times. 3 touches, I shout. Wenger's assistant, Pat Rice, shouts back, play on for F's sake. But Henry has heard me. He turns in my direction and puts his finger over his lips. Shh. Shortly afterwards, I do the same. The ball touches my heel and then my toe before I pass it on. It is one movement, but the academy player gets a free kick against him. Of course I do. I don't think. I just start complaining big time. I say it should be the same for everyone. Henri tells me to shut up, this time with a lot of swear words included. But in hindsight, it is good advice. But I am not taking it on. I shout back that he is the one who should shut up. He runs in my direction, confronts me, yells into my face, says all kinds of things. He totally ignores the fact the game is going on around us. Ashley Cole and Sol Campbell get involved. Carry on, Nicholas. Keep on running and shut your mouth. Man.
One day, I missed the lesson on purpose, and from the ladies' toilet, I hear how they run around yelling for me like they are mad.
So there's lots of yelling. Then he says, but that is not the end of it. After training, Henri comes after me. We start talking, first in the dressing room and then in the players' lounge. I didn't know that he had that many words in him, but he does. It's a 2-hour soliloquy about everything that is needed to get to where one wants to get. For me, it is an honor. It is nice of him and not something he had to do. I soak everything up, and it ends with us hugging each other.
When Liam Brady comes up to me in the canteen later, he grabs hold of me and
find
says,
the part about hiding in the ladies' toilet.
I've got it. It's right here.
Okay.
Go,
I
John,
found it.
go.
One day I missed the lesson on purpose from the ladies' toilet. I hear how they run around yelling for me like they are mad. When Liam Brady comes up to me in the canteen, later he grabs hold of me and says, "What are you thinking, young man? Where have you been?" He has heard a story about how I was hiding underneath the table. That's not true, and I tell him that with a clear conscience. Quote, "Honestly, Mr. Brady, I haven't been hiding underneath the table. This is one big misunderstanding. That is not the only clash. Underneath, Brady, we have David Court. After a few months, it is clear that I've got under his skin. Court can't stand me. He can't hide his contempt. One day, I turn up wearing a baseball cap. He rips it off me and throws it on the floor and starts stamping on it with both feet simultaneously. It is like something out of a cartoon, and against my own will, I start to snigger. Then he shouts and jumps a bit more. When he's done, I collect my cap and walk on to the dressing room. He's surely trying to put me in my place. I have to realize that I am a little... expletive. A big fat zero, as long as I'm still at the academy and not with the first team. That is his message."
This is like Diary of a Wimpy Danish Kid. It really is.
This is...
I've never seen someone self-own themselves like this, ever.
I'm just blown away.
Wow.
I'm blown away by all of this.
Can we have this like sort of like an inspirational vitamin, like every day? Like every time we have a show, let's pull some magnificent quote from this that we can give to the people. So that way,
his book called Both Sides, there's a little bit about Arsene Wenger as well.
Oh, hello.
A little bit.
Oh, man.
So, I guess is 2013, deadline day. Bentner was out of favor at Arsenal, was on the brink of moving to Crystal Palace. Wenger stopped it. And Nicholas Bentner branded Arsene Wenger an a-hole and a W blank 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 ER, which I don't think is actually a curse word. Here, I'm going to go with wanker.
Yes, I would agree.
I
not
think
a winker.
that one is okay.
He's not a winker.
He's not a winker or a weeper. I think it's something else. But he definitely called him an a-hole. That's in the book, too. We need this book translated, people.
We need it translated
Michael
now.
Parkhurst, can you help us?
This is no longer a request. It's a demand. We've moved on. This is something that must be done.
Yes, this is an absolute must because this is just mind-blowingly amazing, and we need to know what else Nicholas Bentner has to say.
Oh, my God.
This is a massive excerpt.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of there. That's why I was like, okay, man, I'm not going through all this. There's just so much going on.
How do you wreck yourself like that? I'm going to go hide in the ladies' restroom so that way I don't have to do training. Like that's... I have never heard a professional athlete destroy themselves in such fashion. Just to say, let me tell you how brave I am. I hid in the ladies' bathroom. They weren't talking to me like that again. Like, way to go, Nicholas.
Oh, man.
Way to stand your ground.
Okay, so this is the Crystal Palace, I guess, where it all falls apart. Waiting, it's going down to the wire. Says the clock is rounded 20 as Wenger rings. He goes straight to the case. It doesn't matter to your move.
Doesn't matter.
We haven't been able to buy the striker we wanted, so now you have to be a backup. It will be your job next year. So Bentner hangs up. He looks at Tom, his agent, who shrugs. Then he calls Wenger back. He says lots of ugly, disrespectful things like a-hole and wanker. Bentner keeps going. I don't know what Bentner sounds like, so I can't do a Bentner voice. We don't like each other anymore. It will be best for everyone to part ways. I'm really trying to free myself. Yes, okay, it's very possible. But it's not going to happen. See you for training.
See you for training.
Fingers, man.
Again, self-owned.
Then he goes in the next day, and he goes directly to Wenger's office, and he says, "You must excuse the things I was told yesterday." I begin. I really don't want to be Wenger's enemy. Morten Olsen and him are probably the two that I at least want to least want to disappoint. The boss has been following me for 9 years and knows what it's all about. And he doesn't get his offer, and he sits there as a backup, and he wilts away. And then he goes to FC Copenhagen and quits. And now he's doing a reality show.
A reality show.
Yes.
Oh, my God. What a fantastic... It's a
Michael
literary
Parkhurst,
masterpiece.
you are our only hope.
A literary masterpiece. Is there not one good Danish person in this town who can translate this book for us?
This needs to happen.
Is there not one?
I need to hear about all these stories. At least I'm going to have to find more excerpts. Maybe I can piece the whole book together.
Yes.
Google Translate's going to be getting a workout tonight.
Yeah, it might be.
They're going to be like, God, there are these 3 clowns in Atlanta that keep trying to translate the worst novel in the history of mankind.
Oh, this is the best novel in the history of mankind.
Oh my! No,
this is literary genius.
This is
straight out of the thinking box.
It's the thinking box.
Straight out of the thinking box.
It is a majestic, just a majestic gift to mankind. Plato, Socrates, fools. Nicholas Bentner, with the novel that is tighter than quote what is it again? The underwear of a stripper that he frequents.
No,
the panties of a stripper he frequents.
Yes.
That is that's the greatest review ever.
Okay.
Could that particular individual be reached for comment about the accuracy of that statement?
Can we please?
I mean, I don't know how you mistranslate that one.
No. I want him to write my eulogy in advance.
Yeah, wow.
Just in advance. How much? Just tell me how much it costs to make that happen.
Oh.
So, and somebody, FIFA 20, you can do some pretty amazing things.
Does that include Nicholas Bentner after he gained 20 pounds?
That's right.
Well, kind of. The headline that I'm reading as I do the Nicholas Bentner news search, FIFA 20 simulates team of giant Nicholas Bentners versus miniaturized Barcelona. Oh, Sakib, you've missed some good stuff.
Oh, dude, where have you been?
Yeah, I need to see giant Bentner against miniaturized Barcelona. This
Mega
is just going to
Bentner.
turn into a Nicholas Bentner appreciation show.
It's Mega Bentner.
It's amazing.
I have a job for you, Sakib.
Yep.
We need you to find a Danish translator for us because we
It's
need
mission
Nicholas
critical.
Bentner's book translated because it sounds like it's amazing.
I actually know a guy.
Sakib knows a guy. I'm not
there you
surprised.
go.
This is a true story.
Yeah. Grab John's mic. Mine's kind of a pain.
This is a true story. I'm sure a lot of you local listeners are familiar with the Atlanta Champions League event that Soccer in the Streets puts on every year. A few years ago, they asked me to manage the Barcelona team for that.
I remember this.
It was a great team. I mean, I was just as good as Pep Guardiola. We lost in the semis because the other team cheated, of course.
Wow. There's been a lot of talk about cheating in tournaments and
Which team?
competitions.
Mourinho's team.
Which one of his teams?
Yeah, which one?
I think we lost to Man United in the semis, and then Liverpool beat United or something. I don't remember. But the point is, we had a phenom from Denmark. His name was Frederik Weibel. I'll never forget it. This guy was one of the most gifted footballers I've seen outside of a professional arena.
Okay.
And it turns out after we recruited him playing pickup at Georgia Tech one day, and that's where we found a lot of our players.
Yeah.
We had a kid, my partner's son, Alvaro, actually trained at La Masia, and he was on the team.
Paid a lot of money for these guys, didn't you?
That's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm just
Look,
checking.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
I
there,
was
though.
managing Barcelona as Pep Guardiola, so
Absolutely.
you guys can fill in the blanks.
It's true.
We followed FFP to the T. Actually.
Yeah.
But
the Soccer in the Streets financial fair play rules.
We talked to this guy. He was an exchange student or something with the Danish embassy or consulate.
Yeah.
And he actually trained with the national team, something or other, with guys like Bentner and Eriksson and those guys. So
I wonder if he hid in the ladies' toilet with Bentner, because Bentner said he did that.
Well, that's what it took to make it to the next level, and Frederik decided not to do that.
Bentner needed to. Well, okay, yeah, it's true. So he might not have done that. But can he translate this book?
I think he can.
And can he get us copies of the upcoming reality show? Because it sounds like it'll all be amazing, and this show it's turned into a Nicholas Bentner appreciation program.
It is.
I'm going to reach out to him. If not, I'm going to reach out to the embassy or the consulate. We're going to get this. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
We have to. It's a mission now.
It's amazing. And we'll also post the video of the FIFA 20 giant Nicholas Bentner team against the miniaturized Barcelona team that is like up to the Giants' waists. So the pregame handshake, it's hilarious.
To be fair, every team is a giant team versus Messi because he's so small, and he's still better than everyone.
Okay,
else.
I feel attacked right now as the
Wow.
5'5" person at the table. I'm just saying that.
But
I
would you
feel
want to play a
attacked right
team
now.
of 8-foot Nicholas Bentners?
Yeah, I could probably win. I'm probably in better shape than him.
You could nutmeg him with like your entire self. Just
So
run through
I
his
would
legs.
end up in the sequel book where he says, "I looked at the 5'5" man in the face, and he stared right back at me. I withheld my tears." Like that.
That's true.
That's going to be the next book, and I'll be in there.
So I'm going to leave it with this. Would you rather have to fight a 5-a-side team of giant Nicholas Bentners or an 11v11 squad of miniature Barcelonas? You have to fight them to the death.
Like physically?
Yes.
Oh, Nicholas Bentner. Look, you punch him 3 times, he's going to quit.
He's too
Even
pretty.
if they're
And
8 foot,
and
there's
look,
5 of them, and
no,
they're 8 foot tall.
No, there's 4 of them because the 5th one goes and hides in the women's bathroom.
Nick Bentler is too pretty to fight. Come on.
Yeah, the little Barcelona guys might be even scrappier in their miniaturized size.
Yo, little
He would be the
Sergio
guy-
Busquets kicking at your ankles.
Little
Yeah.
Luis Suarez? I mean, what's he
No,
going to do?
Suarez will eat you.
Nibbling.
No.
Oh.
I don't want to be bitten
That's true.
by no.
Yeah, I'll fight the big Bentners.
Yeah.
Well, every player that Suarez bit got exponentially better for a short amount of time. Ivanovic had the time of his life after he got bit. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Chiellini, he went on he was insane for Juve the next year.
All right. No, there's something
Yeah.
to that, but you have to survive the biting. It's like a
So-
vampire. You have
Yes.
to
I was about to
survive
say,
the
so
bite.
he's a vampire, except in terms of like footballing ability.
He like somehow injects good football, like good technical
He
abilities.
injects Uruguayan saliva into you, and you become superstar.
We may have a couple of things we have to break down here.
That went to a dark place.
I'm just-
I mean,
what are you talking about? If I can somehow synthesize Uruguayan saliva, and it makes me a better player. I'm showing up for the soccer in the streets. Yes.
And on that note, I will take my leave.
yeah, I think that's going to do it.
Look, the
actually,
soccer in the,
before
the
we
soccer
go.
in the streets, the soccer in the streets Champions League. I'm willing to juice for that. I'm willing to make that happen.
Yes, before we go, Katie Weaver has been listening apparently to the entire segment.
I'm sorry, Katie.
Not sure if I've been appalled or entertained by the last 20 minutes of the show I just tuned into.
Wow, you just showed up for that part too. Wow.
Bam.
Hi.
Somebody listened for the
How you
first
doing?
time tonight, and they only came in on the Nicholas Bentner part, and they're
Yeah.
like, "I'm never, I'm deleting this site from my search history."
Or you have subscribed and you want more. And I don't know which is going to be the case. We will find out next week when we see the numbers.
That's right. One thing we will also see next week are these wonderful hats and scarves,
Attaboy.
and all, the beanies that we have here, all for very, very reasonable rates,
In front of 9,452 televisions.
all built solely for your entertainment. These are wonderfully crafted items that you need to buy right now. They go to a great cause, us, and they are specifically designed with the soccer lover in mind. So if you have name the event. Christmas isn't that far away, right?
Kind of is.
Well, I don't know. Valentine's Day is a Hallmark holiday. You need to buy something substantial, like 3 scarves. So buy a lot of stuff. Don't just buy 1 scarf and 1 hat. Buy several and help us out with our financial fair play situation.
Yes. We
Yes.
need more stuff.
We
But
need more stuff.
we need to sell stuff before we can get more stuff.
That's correct.
It is financial fair play.
It's financial fair play. We have budgets.
Yes.
And Teespring,
Yes.
yes.
You can get a shirt. You can get a mug. You can get a hoodie. They have soccer down here logos on them.
Your city
among other
specific
things.
support shirts.
Yes. You can represent Statesboro. You can represent Memphis. You can represent Birmingham.
901.
You can represent Johnson City, Tennessee. And my
Johnson City,
favorite
Tennessee.
lower division
Fear
team, the
the
Tri
fur.
Cities Otters.
Fear the fur, folks.
The Otters are
Tri-Cities.
great.
Not to be confused with the Quad City DJs, but the Tri-City Otters.
I would like to see that match.
I
The Tri Cities Otters versus the Quad City DJs.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
Probably have to do
Ride the train.
probably have to do a 5-a-side match, but we can make this happen. All right, and we can only make that happen if you buy our beanies, our hats, and our scarves, and our other stuff. And you can just listen to the show and subscribe. That helps too,
That does.
especially when we talk about Nicholas Bentner for 2 hours next week.
Yes.
All
gonna
Bentner
happen.
all the time.
It's going to happen.
All right.
All right, yes. We're going to officially sign off now.
We're just going to keep talking about
We're
Nicholas
yeah.
Bentner.
going to talk about Nicholas Bentner
we're going to
off
shut the
air.
show off, and next week, if you want, you just come
You
up
pick
here.
up at this point.
Yeah, and see us live next time here at the Brew House. Until then, it is the Garlic Bread Warlord Nick Leafy for Jason Longshore, the Godfather,
Bye.
and for John Nelson.
All the thinking boxes.
You go ahead and get your mucha lira, mucha euro, and mucha plata and stick it in that thinking box. Until next time, mucha euro, y'all.